KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Henmerhan and Jeremy Legoo.
The second night of the Democratic National Convention wrapped up within the last few hours or so. Tonight we heard from former President Barack Obama as the party prepares to swear in Kamala Harris as the official nominee. That's all coming up in 10 minutes. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Just within the last few hours, the Cheney Education Association voted to authorize a strike, a decision that could impact the start of school next week. In an email, the Cheney Public School Superintendent called the association's decision, quote, deeply disappointing. But he also clarified an authorization to strike is not a commitment. It's just an option in case their demands are not met. If that is the case, the strike is set for August 27th. That is the first day of school. Well, tonight marked the last city council meeting for Coeur d'Alene Mayor Jim Hammond. The mayor is resigning and his successor has been named, but there's been a snag in the process. KREM 2's Cody Proctor joining us now live in Coeur d'Alene tonight with more. Cody?
That snag relates to who will take over for Councilmember Woody McEver's seat on the council because starting next month, he'll be taking over the mayor's position. The meeting started with smiles, but became tense when Mayor Jim Hammond named his nomination, former Coeur d'Alene Fire Chief Kenny Gabriel, to take over for Councilmember Woody McEver's seat. 3 council members, Dan English, Dan Gookin, and Christy Wood, disagreed with the process since it involves filling a council seat that isn't vacant just yet.
You know, I've been an elected official for 24 years straight, and what I've learned is the public likes to be involved, especially when it's an elected position.
A council vote on the nomination came down to a tie. The nomination ultimately failed after Mayor Hammond abstained from being the tiebreaker, saying he doesn't want strife.
It's too important of an issue, so the concerns need to be worked out between the new mayor and the council.
With no nominee, the city's attorney says it'll be up to the new mayor to make a nomination if he wants to. He can do that at the next city council meeting in early September. As for Mayor Hammond, the end of this meeting brought more smiles and one final pound of the gavel.
I'm very appreciative to this community because it is an honor to serve as their mayor. Did you see the plaque that they gave me?
And Mayor Hammond's last day will be at the end of this month on August 31st. Reporting live in Coeur d'Alene, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. Well, some scary moments tonight at River Park Square downtown at around 6 tonight. A motor burning in an HVAC system caused a lot of smoke, which led to evacuations at some of the mall's stores, restaurants, and the theater. People were outside for about 45 minutes, and after that, they were all let back in. Nobody was hurt. New court documents show Brian Kohberger's defense team is doubling down on efforts to move his trial out of Latah County. Kohberger is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students. Prosecutors say jurors in the county will be able to fairly decide the case. The defense disagrees, this time referencing a phone survey that asked people what would happen if Kohberger was found not guilty. Documents show one response said, quote, they'd burn the courthouse down. Another said, quote, they'd probably find and kill him, unquote. The documents also reference a survey done in Ada County, a possible trial location, where responses said, quote, I think they would take it well. Additionally, the documents show Kohberger's defense attorney, Ann Taylor, blames media coverage for the, quote, prejudgment for guilt she says exists in Latah County. A hearing to consider both arguments has been set for August 29th. All right, switching gears to talk weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. We are another day closer to the weekend, but it looks like our blue skies may be gone by then, Jeremy?
Yeah. Overall, it does look like we have more rain in the forecast, and with it comes more cloud cover. Right now, we sit at 71 degrees, 71. Pretty warm, and it looks like overnight our temperatures will eventually drop down into the 50s, but barely. All of that comes as a low moves overhead. That low working through southern British Columbia brings about our next round of showers. We're already starting to see some of that activity in central Washington and down across the Palouse. This is exactly how we thought this would play out earlier in the day. So here we are, living it. It looks like overnight, let's do that one more time. It looks like overnight we wind up seeing some of that activity move through here in eastern Washington. But by morning, it all works its way out and we head into a sunny start to Wednesday. By Wednesday evening, cloud cover builds back in, much like what we saw today, and that precedes another potential round of showers that could arrive Thursday early in the morning. We head into a couple of days with a chance of rain. Wednesday, you likely don't notice it. Thursday, it's a little bit later in the morning and it leads to a mostly cloudy day. Friday, it's a completely different system, and we're talking that in your full forecast.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Jeremy, thank you very much. Recovery efforts still going strong in both Elk and Medical Lake after the devastating Spokane County wildfires 1 year ago. According to the Inovia Foundation, close to $1.3 million have been raised by local partners for these communities, and tonight they are close to $700,000 already spent on things like emergency shelters, food, and clothing. The director of the New Hope Resource Center says the situation is very different for those who had insurance than those for who did not.
So the families that had insurance are doing really well for the most part. Some have already moved into their new manufactured homes or have foundations poured. But for the families that didn't have insurance, the situation looks really different, and they'll be spending another winter in an RV.
According to statistics from the Salvation Army, there are currently 54 cases open with disaster case managers for both the Elk and Medical Lake areas. Of those cases, only 4% of people who lost their homes were insured. The rest were either underinsured or had no insurance at all. Now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. An overnight fire destroyed part of a Cheney logging and timber salvage business. The owner of the Turley Logging and Timberland Management told us that he believes that fire started with his fifth wheel. He plugged it in to prepare for a trip to Kendrick to salvage pine damaged in the Texas fire. This isn't the only time they have done this. The company also spent 9 months on the Gray Fire in Medical Lake cutting trees. He says he thinks an electrical malfunction started the fire in his shop at around midnight, and now he is feeling a loss of his own.
Kind of devastating. Kind of gives you, the Gray Road fire was sadness overload, dealing with all those people down there, and it kind of gives me a little taste of it.
Now we must sift through the ash to figure out what he can salvage, but he thinks the damages may be more than $250,000. Spokane Fire says they are now investigating 5 suspicious brush fires as potential arsons. We first told you about 2 fires burning near Browns Addition yesterday afternoon. Today, the department confirmed they responded to 3 other fires at Highbridge Park at around 8 last night. Crews were able to quickly contain them and kept the total burned area to about 1/4 acre. Spokane police are investigating to find out if the fires are connected. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Check. That number is right there at the bottom of your screen. And a beloved tree at Finch Arboretum in Spokane will be removed because it's been deemed unsafe. The white willow tree, famous for climbing, needs to be removed after it cracked in half. There is no timeline for when that tree will be removed. The willow was planted back in 1946. Staff at the Arboretum says they are exploring options for what to do with the tree and the space, and they are seeking the community's input. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, Boeing says it has grounded a new aircraft still being developed after a problem was found with a part unique to the 777-9. It's a structural component that connects the engine to a wing, a problem they say they've reported to the FAA. 4 of the aircrafts are approved for test flights, with several more in storage in Everett.
It is a big deal because it's one of many failures recently. They've had a long list of design and manufacturing failures, and they just keep coming one after the other.
Again, only 4 of the aircraft are cleared for test flights, while 481 orders have been placed. The plane remains several years behind schedule. Well, new video tonight of a Washington State ferry crew heading out to rescue paddleboarders. It happened over the weekend during the stormy weather. 1 person was saved by the Suquamish rescue boat. Everett Fire rescued 3 others, 1 from the water and 2 who were found holding on to the end of the Boeing pier. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.